This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Stick Tamer Bow Silencers. Are you a traditional archery hunter or shooter? Stick Tamer was specifically designed for the recurve shooter. Made of a hybrid foam rubber material, Stick Tamer is designed to deaden string slap and limb vibration. Stick Tamer reduces limb and string noise, water resistant, and lasts shot after shot. Made in the USA from a hybrid foam rubber for durability. To purchase Stick Tamer and for more information, visit ThreeRiversArchery.com and BlackWidowBows.com. Stick Tamer bow silencers are available exclusively at ThreeRiversArchery.com and BlackWidowBows.com.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls. We got Dan Hall here, and unfortunately Dave Young's out tonight, so we got Michael Booth here on the board there, so he's not doing the intro tonight. That'll be me. So tonight we got a pretty nice guest from California. We're going to be speaking with Casey Bennett from Decorah, California. He's been a valued customer for more than 5 years now. He's had harvested some West Coast birds with our calls, and we just wanted to have him here tell his experiences and how it is to hunt Merriams and Rios out there in the West, which he lives on a 9,000-acre ranch, and he has another 12,000-acre ranch. So, Casey, it's a pleasure to have you on there tonight, sir, and we'll get talking with you.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
How you doing, Casey?
It's going good, and enjoying the nice break in the weather between the rainstorms and nice 70 degrees out. It's real nice. Looking forward to being in the turkey woods here in about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Perfect.
definitely.
2 weeks, man. That's earlier than ours. Must be nice.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I have no complaints on my end.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're just going to, if you could just give us a little background on you and how you got started in the outdoors and turkey hunting in general.
Sure. Growing up, my dad gave all of us kids, as soon as we turned 8 years old, BB guns, little Red Riders. And when I got my first one, I actually wore the trigger out on it in the first week.
Wow.
Going out shooting birds.
Gosh.
Wow.
The first week, and then eventually when as we got older, when we all turned 12, all us boys, we got our first shotgun, single shot H&R 20 gauge.
Nice.
And yes, sir, started out hunting dove, and that was the first thing, and going out and shooting ground squirrels and clay targets, and then eventually moved up to quail. And it was during a quail hunt that it was my dad and a friend of his, and we were up there up in the hills, and my dad's friend handed me a couple number 4s, and he said, "Hey, here's this in case you see a turkey." I go, "Turkey?" I go, "I didn't know there were turkeys here in California." And it got me started. I was just, for some reason, came infatuated with it. And my dad's friend had been on a turkey hunt previously and was talking about all the calling and how the birds came in strutting and everything like that. And it just piqued my interest. So that Christmas, all I wanted for Christmas was turkey calls, turkey decoys. And this was in 96. And so that Christmas, I got my first turkey call, a Loman little scratch box. And we went down to the local Army surplus store and got camo. And that spring of 97 was my first turkey hunt. And never did get a bird, but was able to call some in. And I was hooked ever since.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. And I harvested my first bird in 98, got a nice little Jake. And and after that, I was like, I want more calls. I want more decoys. I want.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And that was back when Realtree was having I love their Camelback, the Realtree Extra Brown and the Extra Gray and all that good stuff. So I had to have the top-notch stuff. And
Oh, yeah,
That's back
definitely.
when the tree bark was out still.
uh-huh. Absolutely.
Yeah, the tree bark was
Absol-
big here in West Virginia. I mean, that was one of the biggest camo patterns that everybody had turkey hunting here in the woods.
I don't know how well that'll worked out west though, like that, because you're probably more open woods with the pine trees and such.
Pine trees, red cedars.
Yeah.
It's actually where we live. It's all mostly oaks.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yep, with a few pine trees. The turkeys, they like to roost in what we have out here are called digger pines.
Okay.
And but it is really open for most part, depending on where you are. But it is mostly open. But it's all oak trees and everything's really green in the springtime. I mean, green, and so the real tree extra brown and stuff, really you blend it in really well.
So I've only heard about trees in California that's like usually about 150 to 300 foot tall. So them birds got a pretty good ways to fly down there, don't they?
Yes, they do. They do. And we have our nice big redwoods up there, but they're just a little bit higher up than where I do most of my hunting at.
I got you.
So, yeah. But yeah, the turkeys, they love to roost in those digger pines, and occasionally if you get a nice big old oak tree, they'll roost in those occasionally as well.
Okay, yeah.
So you're talking about the clear woods. That's what we'd call the turkey woods back home here.
Yeah.
Get them real thick clear woods where you can see a ways. Yeah. That's what we dream of.
Yes, sir, exactly. We have nice big open meadows and
Nice.
real hilly, really hilly. I mean, we have, there's some actual mountains you got to go up to sometimes get to them, and these birds like to walk. These
Really?
Rios like to walk.
Now,
And-
with your experience with Rios, are they easier to call in than? Have you hunted the Miriams? There's some Miriams there, so are they about the same to call in, or a little different?
They're, it all depends. Depends on the day and the gobbler. Sometimes they could be easy as pie, and it's like, wow, that was almost too easy. But some days you want to eat your hat, and because you can have them coming in, and then all of a sudden, like sometimes I've had cows come in, chase them off, or hens more than likely come in and they're like, oh, they get within 100 yards and they say, oh, I'm going to go with that hen over there.
Yeah.
But they are, I mean, some days they are easier. And my birds, I've been hunting pretty much the same flocks for, since 1997. And they've gotten a little used to decoys, a little decoy shy sometimes. But for the most part, it's still a challenge. Even being on private land and whatnot, it's still a challenge.
Now, do you have any public land in between those 9,000 and 12,000 acres you got there, or is it all pretty much together?
It's all together. It's all private. There are public spots around, but they get hit very hard.
Yeah, I'd say so. Wow, that's crazy.
And in where we live here in where I live, there isn't that much public land, but Northern California and Southern California have quite a bit of public land.
Yeah.
I don't know how I could hunt 21,000 acres.
Oh, I know. Good Lord.
I don't know where I'd start.
I know. It's every time I think, I'm going to go hunt over here, it's like, well, but I know the birds are over here all the time. So, maybe I'll just stick over here to this little section. And, but it's a lot of ground to cover. And, excuse me, guys, still getting over a cold I've been having for about a week.
No, you're fine. It's going around everywhere.
I got the cough a little bit here too.
Yep, so they have to excuse me. But they are tough to hunt because they are on the move a lot. As soon as those birds hit the ground, they're moving.
Okay.
And you really can't pattern them because they just want to go. They go wherever they just want to feel like going that day.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So talking about all that land you got there, you do some cattle ranching and farming there. Want to talk a little bit about that? How you got into that?
Yes.
Has it been a family tradition there?
It's been a family tradition. My great-great-grandfather homesteaded our ranch in 1887. They came out from Tennessee.
Wow.
And,
Tennessee.
Hey, I just finished watching 1883. That's kind of the same concept, right?
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It started out that he bought 150 acres and then just started expanding on that and buying up more acreage. And originally started running Hereford cattle, in which we still do. We still have I still have a little herd of Hereford cattle, only about a dozen or so.
Okay.
And we run about 115 head of cattle, a mix. We have some Shorthorns, we have Charolais, we have a few Angus, and then Hereford Angus crosses.
Okay.
And they're very, with all this rain we've been getting, the feed is phenomenal. And so the calves are out. All the calves are happy, very happy.
Oh, no doubt. I'm sure. Now, do you guys do any milk in there as well, or?
We don't. But back when my mom was a girl, they did have a few dairy cows they used to milk, but we don't do any milking. It's all for beef.
Okay.
And we do save a few steers every year to feed out for ourselves.
Sure.
And for various friends and whoever else wants to buy in on a piece of beef.
So what is the prices of beef down there now?
To be honest, I'd have to look at the prices. I'd have to go on the interwebs and look at it.
Well, it fluctuates so much. I'd say
it's. I mean, it could be 85 cents one day, and then it could be $2, $3 a pound the next day.
Wow, what's the lowest you've ever seen it in your time in doing the ranching?
Oh, probably about 45 cents.
Holy moly, that's crazy.
Yeah, we'll not see that again.
No.
No.
That's kind of like gas prices. Once they rise, you're not going to see them come back down.
Nope. Especially here in California.
Right.
Yeah.
What is your gas prices now?
It's sitting about $4.30.
Wow.
That's what I pay for diesel here.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, our gas.
That's what's.
I was in South Charleston here earlier today, and well, no, it wasn't today. It was yesterday, and that's only 15 minutes from my house, and there's a 40-cent price difference. I can go to Sam's Club up there and get gas for $3.09 and come back out to where I live in Cross Lanes, and it's $3.49 at the Kroger.
You're kidding.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's nuts.
It's nuts. It's insane. It's insane, and I mean, and it's just going to unfortunately get worse.
Yeah.
With inflation and everything going on, it's terrible.
I hate to say it, but this inflation's going to affect our kids for the next 10 or 15 years.
Yes, it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's terrible, and it's not getting any better. And unless we get somebody good in office, it's not going to get any better.
You're speaking the truth there, brother. I tell you, it's not often you hear that coming from California.
Not often you talk to somebody that hunts out of California either, though.
We're glad to be in good company from the West Coast. That's for sure.
Right. Oh yes, I'm so glad to be talking to you guys. This is awesome. This is awesome.
On that 21,000 acres or so, do you just turkey hunt, or you do any deer hunting? What's your deer herds out like there?
Our deer herds, unfortunately, are hurting. Some places are better than others. On our place, the deer herds have been pretty low the past few years. In fact, I hate to say it, I haven't even bought a deer tag in probably 5-6 years, just because it just wasn't worth it. And plus, our deer seasons are very, very odd, which goes with California, I guess.
Sure.
Because our bow season starts here in August.
Okay.
And meanwhile, over on the coastal part of California, it starts in July.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. And it's where we live, very hot during the summertime. I mean, upwards of 110 degrees.
Right.
115. And it's rough hunting. But some places, the deer herds aren't bad. It just kind of depends on where you're at. Over on the coast, the deer are everywhere.
Sure.
Everywhere. Up here, there's still a few, but we do have a lot of, though, everywhere are wild hogs.
Oh, okay.
We have an abundance of pigs, and they've really taken over.
Now, do you guys have open season on that, like Texas and Louisiana and all these other states that have an abundance of them? Or is California
it's
different?
No, it is open season all year round.
That's pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, and that wreaks havoc, I'm sure, on your ranch there for farming and just the holes that they create and the hog wallers and
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's terrible. I mean, some of that turkey ground looks like a rototiller went through it. Like you
Oh, yeah.
guys, I'm sure know. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible.
yeah.
In fact, I've had hogs come and chase turkeys off, and I've had them coming to me before, and
Wow.
um,
So then that
and
turns
they're
into a hog hunt.
Yeah.
yes, it does real quick.
That's kind of like us with coyotes.
Yeah, it
So
is.
If like even deer hunting, turkey hunting, whatever, I see a coyote, I'm no longer hunting a deer or turkey. I am now hunting coyote.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we do have quite the coyote population too.
Yeah, that was my next
Yeah.
question. On your ranch there, how often do you have to go out there and, take them out because of the cows and stuff like that?
We go out we go out and check the cows every day, and if we happen to run into one or two, which we usually do, they're done, dusted. Because we had some problems last year with them chewing on calves and stuff, and a few
Sure.
other friends of mine have had that same issue, and so and I'll go out there occasionally and call them in, and just try and take out a few of them at least, but
Sure.
but there's unfortunately no stopping them. It seems like they breed like rabbits.
Oh, they do. Absolutely. On coyotes, do you guys, are you far enough out there where you guys have wolves as well, or is that not a non-issue?
Actually, we actually do have a few wolves. Some friends of mine who actually the lease or the ranch we lease out to a couple local ranchers, and they got a wolf on camera on one of their game cameras about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And but I haven't seen it, but it definitely wasn't a coyote. It was a lot bigger, and it was definitely a wolf. Which is sad because a lot of the environmentalists here in California are like, oh, we let the wolves come, and it's like, no, because people are going to lose their livelihood when they start going after everybody's livestock.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And plus, local deer herd's going to be even more decimated than it already is, and the turkey population and everything else. And we also do have an abundance of mountain lions.
Yep.
Not so much in my neck of the woods. I've seen a few tracks here and there, but I've never actually seen one while out hunting, thanks be to God. But they have also been really bad on the local deer herd here in the Sierras.
Yeah, I would say so.
Mm-hmm. And they closed the mountain lion season back in the 70s, unfortunately, and now they're just all over the Sierras right now.
Wow.
So there's not a season for them there right now.
There's not.
Wow.
Wow,
So they
that's
just
crazy.
they just let them flourish.
They do, and they claim they're endangered species, and it's like, I don't know.
Wow.
It seems like there's about 20 of them running around Los Angeles right now. And,
They're so endangered, but yet there's a season in every other state surrounding you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad here in California, and we can't use lead here in California anymore either.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's about everywhere now. They've pushed that away.
Speaking of lead, do you do any waterfowl hunting or anything like that?
I do.
Awesome.
I do. My dad and I belong to a duck club about 40 miles west of Ducor, and we this past season was really good. Although unfortunately I had to miss most of it, just being a new dad and everything. And
Sure.
but they had a heck of a season. I was able to get out there a few times. I got a few teal, and I know Michael, you saw that spoonie I got.
Yes, sir.
Yep, got that sucker, man. I've always wanted a spoonie mounted, and he was a keeper.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
I'd say you have an awesome flyover pattern out there where the weather's nice.
We do. In fact, that where we live here in the Central Valley, it used to be one giant lake. It used to be called Tulare Lake.
Yeah.
And the waterfowl this has always been their migration one of their migration stopping points. So, couple years ago, past couple years, it wasn't that great, but this year was really good. We got a lot of cold weather up north and pushed the birds down, and I mean there were tons of widgeon and pintail and teal galore.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really good for a lot of people. There are a few.
Yeah,
although they
ponds.
are unfortunately we do have a few. Although they are unfortunately my mom's refuge. We promised her we wouldn't hunt ducks there because she's like, I like seeing them. So it's like, Mom, there's like 20 mallards and about 30 widgeon. I don't think you'd be missing any. They come back.
Yep.
Yeah.
They would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, we're talking about all kinds of stuff here. I mean, we're just getting into everything, but
absolutely.
Try to focus on the wild turkey down there. Tell us a little bit about the history of the wild turkey there in California.
Oh, sure. They back in the 1930s to the 50s, they tried to introduce turkeys here, but they raised pen-raised birds and turned them loose with very low success rate. I mean, it was not even maybe 1%, 2%, maybe. And then after that, they kind of gave up on it. But then in the 70s, they decided the California Fish and Game decided they would try one more time. And they went to Texas and Kansas and got a bunch of Rios and turned them loose over on the Central Coast and here in the Central Valley. And the Rios acted like they had never left Texas. And they just flourished. And now they are everywhere. They're backed up in Sacramento, about 4 or 5 hours north of me. They're becoming a kind of a hazard up at the UC Davis, the university up there, because they're going after the mailman and students trying to go to class. And,
wow.
That's funny.
And they're really a real success story. And they also released a bunch of Merriams up in the San Bernardino National Forest, which did really well up until a bunch of wildfires and mountain lions kind of decimated the population a bit. My understanding is there still is a small flock remaining up there.
Okay.
But very, very few and far between. And there were some Merriams released up here. In fact, I got one back in 2008.
Oh, nice.
And he was absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
That's definitely one of my bucket list birds. I ain't never got to hunt nothing but an eastern.
Yeah.
So it's a bucket list bird.
Yeah, if you get a chance, Casey, we're going to have you out here so you can start racking up the Grand Slam with the eastern bird, and you can get the Merriam and the Rio in your area.
I would love that. And guys can come out here.
We've got some places in Florida that we could send you so you can get you an Osceola.
Yep.
Oh, man, that'd be incredible.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible. That'd be a dream come true right there, fellas. I'll tell you what.
Sure is.
Then we'll just all get together and go to Mexico.
Go get ourselves a Gould.
Oh, yeah. That's a beautiful bird there.
It sure is.
That is. Those beautiful white fan tips. And
what's the ocellated one? Where's those
That's
at?
Mexico as well.
Is that Mexico as well? That's what I thought, yeah.
I think you can get some Goulds in Arizona and New Mexico and Texas.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, I thought maybe those were in California as well. I just forgot about mentioning those earlier.
The ocellated?
Yeah.
No, I think that's pretty much the Mexican peacock.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you on that.
Yep. Yeah, I understand. I think they're only in the Yucatan Peninsula, is my understanding.
Oh, okay.
Down there in very, very South America. But I would love to have you guys out here in California and get yourself a Rio and a Merriam's.
Man, that would be awesome.
That would be sweet. I don't know if I'd bring a gun. I may have to borrow one.
Yeah. We might not come back to the eastern part of the U.S. here if we bring a gun with us. Oh, goodness.
Well, I'll tell you what, my little 870-20 gauge shoots just fine with that little Indian Creek choke and some heavy shot works just good. Just fine.
Hey, 20 gauge is a good round.
So what's that ammo that you're talking about there? Is that a local ammo?
That heavy shot? No.
No, I thought you said Indian Creek something.
Oh, the choke tube.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay.
Yep. What are you guys shooting, by the way?
Well, we mostly shoot Kent cartridge, but we recently met up with another company here in Charleston at the West Virginia Hunting and Fishing Show, Viper.
Yes.
ammunition. They're based out of West Virginia here. Now there's only 2 companies in the U.S. that's known for making 410 TSS shells.
Really?
And they're one of the companies. And 410s are starting to become popular again. So I think we're going to start trying that out.
I think that's a really good idea. They look so much fun.
Yeah.
They look like
that's what I started on, and that's what my son started on, and it's been a tradition in our family. I went from a 410 right to a 30-06.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
See, I got a 28 gauge Winchester Red Letter 28 gauge. It's well, technically I don't have it. It's my wife's, so it's mine too, I guess, right?
There you go. Yeah.
It was her.
What's hers is yours, and what's yours is hers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I think I want to take that thing out this year.
Yeah.
And try to kill a bird with it.
I think it would be cool.
That would be cool. That'd be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a lot of fun. How hard are those eastern birds? I've heard nothing but they're tough, is my understanding.
Very.
Well, yeah, for us, it's not that bad because that's all we've ever hunted.
Right.
But for somebody coming into, the eastern part of the U.S. and trying to hunt these mountain birds is what we call them. Down south they call them thunder chickens and stuff, swamp chickens, but here we call them mountain birds. And man, I'm telling you, they will run you over.
Yeah,
I mean, they'll put a hurting on you.
Yep. So
I had a friend of mine. He lives up here. He's actually makes turkey calls called. He has a company called Motherlode Turkey Calls.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
Joe Slayton. Okay. Yep. He hunted West Virginia a few years ago, and he said it was nothing but up and down.
Oh yeah,
he said
definitely.
He said you almost have to be standing up to shoot those birds.
Oh yeah.
For
sure.
So we met a guy. I guess it'd be last weekend at the Morgantown hunting show. He was from Parkersburg, West Virginia. He now lives out in Wyoming.
Wyoming, yeah.
And he's a guide. He does guide services.
Oh, Tom? Are you talking about Tom?
Yeah. And he was talking about how stupid easy some of them Western birds are. He said he said with your skill set killing Eastern, he said you'd have no trouble.
Yeah.
He said these birds are kind of stupid in comparison.
Oh, they definitely can be. I mean, there's been times where, oh my gosh, I've had birds it's been a 15-minute hunt.
Yeah.
And I've made mistakes where I just had no choice but to get my gun up because the bird wouldn't turn around. He was strutting around the decoys, and I had no choice to get my gun up, and he didn't even notice.
Oh, wow.
And finally had to cluck at him. It was like, hey, buddy. And
yeah, around here we gobble with mouth calls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's funny.
Oh man. But no, these Western birds, they can be tough, like I said, because they like to walk.
Yeah.
They will walk, and they don't have certain strut zones or anything. They just they have a certain fly down area they like to go to.
Sure.
But then after that, it's up in the air of where they're going to go.
Now, do they kind of roost in the same spots like our birds? They kind of have their certain area where they will roost, and it may be up higher on the hill or down lower in the middle, depends on wind and weather.
Yeah.
But they kind of stay in the same general vicinity when they go to roost.
Sure, it's the same thing. In fact, on our ranch, there are 3 different flocks, and 2 of the flocks, the main flock, I call it, they've roosted in the same spot for the past almost 20 years, and the other flock the same. And I mean, sometimes they'll move around. Like there'll be some gobblers that'll be off, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they are in the same spot every year.
So are y'all roosting birds in the evening to find out where they're at and locate them, or do you locate them in the morning with a hoot owl call and different things like that?
What I usually do is I go out and do my preseason scouting about 2 weeks before season starts generally and get a feel for where they are. And normally, like I said, they really don't change roosts, but every now and then I'll go out maybe night before opener and maybe do coyote call and or just wait sit around and get a nice hilltop where you can hear in several different directions. Just listen, sit and listen. And but for the most part, they are usually in the same spots. I've been surprised a few times where they might have gotten spooked off the roost in the night because I've pulled up and been out of the truck in the morning and getting my vest on, getting ready, and all of a sudden there's a bird gobbling 100 yards away.
So a coyote call will make them gobble out there.
Yes. Yeah, because they're used to coyotes and.
Oh, okay.
See, that shuts them up here.
Yeah, you wouldn't have that here.
Really? No kidding.
No, you got to crack off an owl hooter in the mornings. And,
man,
that'll get them right off the bat.
Or a rooster.
Yeah.
Crow calls.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, crow calls, yeah. You're right.
They respond pretty well to crow calls out here. We don't have any barred owls. Unfortunately, we have our great horned owls, and they'll gobble at them occasionally. But we got a
lot of barred owls.
That's why they sound awesome. I mean, all the hunting shows and everything, that woo, 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 woo.
Oh, yeah.
Just, it's awesome.
I love sitting on the porch listening to them at night. I mean, we can hear them here almost anywhere you go, really. I mean, if you're sitting out at night on the porch, and, that's where 95% of our time is when we're home.
Yeah.
When it's nice,
Or not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Rain or shine.
Out by the fire.
Yeah, exactly. That's my wife always finds me, generally. Uh-huh.
Yep. So we was talking about, we're getting into turkey hunting and talking about that, and you're talking about the Rios and the Merriams. So how is the Rios there on the West Coast?
They're great. Their population, at least in this area, Northern California and the coastal areas, are booming. We've had really pretty decent rains the past couple of years, so the nesting has been really good. Lots of bugs for the poults to eat, and good nesting grounds.
Nice.
But down in Southern California and San Diego County, the population has dropped off quite a bit due to we have a bark beetle that moved in several years ago that has been just destroying oak trees, mostly redwoods and pine trees up in our neck of the woods, but down in San Diego County, the oak trees have just been decimated with this beetle, so the turkeys are losing a lot of their habitat. And so the population has been down significantly.
Oh, wow.
I think, I'm trying to think that beetle you're talking about is something that's becoming invasive in our states here too.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure I remember that name when you said it.
What was the beetle name you're talking about?
Bard's beetle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
I'm thinking
it may be.
I seen at the hunting, at least at the Charleston show, the DNR have that poster about invasive beetle species, and I'm pretty sure that was it. That rang a bell as soon as you said it. So that's good to know exactly.
Well, I know we have a specific beetle that's attacking the ash trees right now, and it's a boar beetle, I believe.
Yes, this is same
kind of thing.
Yeah, same kind of thing. Bores in there and just kills the trees. And you can drive up. We have a cabin up in the high Sierras, and driving up there, you can see all the sugar pines and all the other pine trees just dead.
Yeah. So you mentioned in that last year we done a limited run series, our LR22, and that was done out of ash. And we were specifically discussing the emerald beetle. That's the one that we have here in West Virginia that's taking out our ash trees.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And unfortunately, there's there's no stopping it.
No, it's like going back, with, I can't remember what beetle it was, but it's what took out the American chestnut. And that's very hard to find, but we still are able to find some American chestnut, and that's what we do the box calls out of. I think you actually have one of those, or do you have the walnut witch?
I have a walnut and a chestnut.
Oh, okay.
So you got them both.
Got them both. There you go. I knew you had one. I thought you had the chestnut because I remember that specifically.
So what do you have for our slate calls?
I honestly don't have any. I have both box calls. I don't have any slate calls from you guys, actually. But I would I will definitely be purchasing some though in the near future because I can always use extra slate calls.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He definitely needs a Pro Series then.
Oh yeah. If you is slate normally your favorite, or do you like something that's really loud like a box call?
Yeah, I like something that's really loud. I prefer glass, although I've become a big fan, honestly, of ceramic.
Okay, yeah. Well,
ceramic and aluminum.
We have, that's
I suggest you try out our, if I had one here close by, I'll go check there here in a minute in the shop because we're right outside our shop. But if I have a Pro Series, I know we have some made up because we just made a bunch of them for the last show, I think.
They're all in the trailer packed up for the next show.
They may be. I can't remember whether I brought that container in or not, but the Pro Series, man, I'm talking about reaching, we always talk mountains here in West Virginia. So when we're at these trade shows, we're talking about reaching birds from ridge to ridge. And this is the call that you would want. And it would carry through those, different kind of valleys and stuff out there. I mean, it's as loud as you can get a call, in my opinion.
Oh, excellent. I love those kinds of calls because I like to, especially when I'm running and gunning late in the morning, get on a nice little ridge top and reach into different canyons. And because it's very, we have a lot of canyons to run through the ranch, and boy, being able to reach out there and touch them really helps out a lot. That's why I'm a big fan of box calls and high volume, like glass calls, aluminum, ceramic. And I have so many calls. There's so many. That's what's so cool about the turkey call thing going on right now. There's so many different combinations.
Yeah, there is.
So, and people have gotten real innovative. I mean, you got glass over slate and, just all kinds of different combinations. Matt Van Sice, for example, has some really cool combinations. There's a really good guy I have a few calls from. Give him a little shout out, Anthony Fleener from Fleener's Custom Calls. He has some really neat combinations.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of him.
Yeah, he's definitely worth checking out. He has some neat calls, but it's just so crazy how far the turkey call, just the trend has come in the past. I mean, since I started in 97.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's once you're in the industry, like we are, and we go to these trade shows, you're like, oh my God, these turkey call companies come out of the woodwork. They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere now. Everybody's everybody makes calls now.
But that's like, we're not biased to anything. We was up there at Cabela's the other day, and we were talking about Woodhaven, and we were talking about Bone Collector, and we were talking about HS Strut. We're helping Cabela's promote their products. So, we're in this industry not only to sell our own products, but we're in this industry to keep the tradition of hunting alive. And we all have to stick together and do that as one. You know what I mean?
Yes, you do. There can't be any competition going on because you guys all have the same goal.
Yep, definitely.
Like you just said, to keep hunting alive.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well,
and I love seeing all the custom call makers like you guys.
Yes.
And all the others, because I remember, like I'm sure you guys remember when you first started turkeying, it was Primos, Quaker Boy, and HS Strut, basically.
Yep, that was it. That was the three.
Mm-hmm. That was it. Now you have all the good custom call makers. And,
of course, you always had Lynch box calls, and then they started moving into making other things. But that's what they founded their business on, box calls, I think. And then it started branching out into different things. We founded our business on mouth calls. My brother had made mouth calls since he was 16 years old, and up one day he was like, "Hey, we should start a business and do this." So that's what we done.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And what are your guys' favorite calls? Do you guys have, what are your two favorites out of the ones you guys make?
Well, here recently, we have just come out with a Spring Tonic 2.0 within the last couple of years. We're bringing out a different 2-pack this year. We're going to redo our Ghost Cut, and we're going to bring in a different rendition of a Batwing. So we're going to offer another 2-pack this year, And but my favorite one over the years has been a split V. You know, we do a split V Spring Tonic 2.0. That's the rendition that we started of the Spring Tonic, and I like it really well. I can cut with it, I can yelp with it really good, and I can gobble with it. And I think the gobble sounds good. I mean, that's what we was gobbling here with a little bit ago. We have that recorded there on one of our pads.
Oh, excellent. So
and
that is, I do. Yeah, I'm not a big mouth call user, but I do like that V cut though.
Oh yeah,
I do like.
Yeah.
So this one here is our V cut and when you can gobble with it.
That's awesome.
I mean,
that's great.
Well, some people can.
Yeah, some people can.
But no, speaking on one of my favorite calls that we make is actually our bat wing cut, which is called our hot wings.
Yeah, he loves hot wings.
I absolutely love that call.
I don't think he likes the call. I think he actually likes the hot wings, the chicken wings.
Yeah. Well, I dip it in hot sauce, buffalo sauce, before I put it in my mouth.
There you go.
Helps it carry a little bit farther, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The cuts.
Start screaming with it because it's so hot.
And it takes that hunger pain away when you're out there hunting.
That's right. But while
it hurts you the next day, but
yeah, absolutely. But no, while we got a little break here, we do our salute to valor on every episode. So tonight I'm gonna do a salute to valor for Cameron Frazee from Urbana, Illinois. He was in the Army. He was in infantry. He served for 8 years, where he was stationed at Fort Campbell, Fort Lewis, and Fort Riley. He got out as an E6, which is a staff sergeant. He did 3 tours of duty to Afghanistan, and he got out in 2016. So we'd like to thank you for your service. I got to meet that gentleman while I was working up in Illinois, and just down to earth, humble man. He actually just started his own business here just recently. He got hooked up a little bit with the guys from 217. They helped him out, and he's doing media production. So if you ever get on 217's website or
they do
Rally
some good
Point
stuff. Fitness,
he's doing that. He does a lot with the Baird Brothers, which they make a lot of signs and such things like that out of metal work and woodwork and stuff like that. So that's awesome to see him getting his business going, and I hope he does well with it.
Yes, sir. Salute.
Yep. Thank you, Cameron, for your service. We appreciate you, sir, to our great country, and thank you for your sacrifices that you've made. We're glad you made it home.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. So let's get back into talking about some turkeys. So we talked about you talked about the Rios. We talked about how you locate turkeys. So how does the seasons fall there in Ducor or Duncor? Sorry.
Here in Ducor, well, here in California, our youth season actually starts. No problem. No worries.
Just say California.
Yeah, just say California. I mean, us West Virginia hicks back here, we don't know how to talk out there in California.
I know you guys. That's why I'm trying to take it easy on you. Well, our youth season actually starts this coming weekend.
Nice.
And then general season starts March 25th, and it goes until it changes every year, but normally it's the first weekend of May. Last year it was the last weekend of April, but it's the first weekend of May this year. And then we have archery season, which starts the same day as our general season does, the 25th, but that goes actually for another 2 weeks after the general season closes, and along with the youth season as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And about this time of year, normally birds are usually starting to split up, and toms are fighting jakes and other toms, and with our weather we've been having the past couple months, they're still a little flocked up, but with this warm weather the past few days, this little break in the weather we've had, they should be starting to split up. And I understand that gobblers are showing off for hens, and they're in the mood.
Yeah, they've already started gobbling here.
Well, yeah, they're flocked up still, though.
Yep.
So he's a couple weeks ahead of us there with your much nicer weather.
For the most part, today's one of those rare days we see the sun.
Yeah, well, I mean, you all have had snow. You all have had a bunch of rain. I mean, like we were talking before the podcast, it's either, drought or flood.
That's exactly it. No happy medium out here this year.
Yep.
But we are really blessed with the rain, despite some of the destruction it's caused a little bit. But we did need it, that's for sure, especially for all the farmers and ranchers. And in fact, where I live here in Tulare County is the #1 ag producer in the country. We have a variety of citrus and nuts, and despite the ones in Sacramento, and all kinds of vegetables and everything. And so this rain has definitely helped out that a lot.
Okay,
yep.
Cool, nice. So we were talking there before the podcast. You basically say that you primarily hunt just in California. You haven't ventured out anywhere else so far.
I have not been able to venture out anywhere else. Although one of these days I would love to go hunt some easterns with you guys in Osceola, and I would one day like to go to either Wyoming, New Mexico, and experience a true Merriam's hunt.
Yeah, sure.
And heck, even Texas to go get another Rio and see, just try see what different countries like.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I will say this: California in the springtime, you almost can't beat as far as beauty goes. I mean, especially with all the wildflowers, the green grass, all the oak trees leafing out. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
gorgeous.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, there's, California's got some beautiful areas out there.
It does. There's a lot of people don't realize there are places other than San Francisco and Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, yep, definitely.
Yep.
That's like when we went to Maine. We traveled up to Maine one year to do a waterfowl hunt, and you go through New York, and we were upstate, like really upstate north New York, and there's actually cattle farms and stuff in New York, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know there was this much cattle up here.
In New York? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's big cattle country.
They sure do have a lot when it comes to far north New York.
Oh, yeah, northern New York.
Yeah.
Absolutely. See, that's where I was stationed when I was in the military, so I got to see a lot of that.
Yep.
Oh, excellent. What branch were you in?
I was in the Army. I was one of them dummies, too. I was infantry as well. Funny story on that. So I wasn't going in as infantry. I was going in as an electrician for the M1A1 Abrams.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I scored pretty well on my ASVAB and all that. But we get to MEPS, and, my recruiter did all he could to get me into what I was doing, because at the time I was going through school for electrician. So I'm like, I'll just piggyback off of that and do something like that in the military. And get to MEPS, and I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, I don't want to be an electrician. He's like, what? He said, you know how hard it was to get you in that? I'm like, I think I just want to kill people. He said, didn't say another word, looked down at his computer, punched something in. He's like, all right, you're going to Benning now.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, shit, what did I do?
Exactly.
That was way too easy. Something bad just happened.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't change it for the world. I enjoyed it, met some amazing friends, still talk with them. But, yeah.
Excellent. My brother-in-law, he's over in Kansas. He actually just retired out of the Army as a major.
Nice.
And he was infantry. He did I think he did 4 tours between Iraq and Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And boy, some of the stories he had to tell were incredible.
I bet.
To say the least.
If he don't care to let us do a salute to him, if you could get his information, we'd love to salute him on the show.
Oh, absolutely. I could definitely do that. And he'd appreciate that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, that's one of the things that we highlight during our show is our veterans, because if it wasn't for our veterans, we couldn't sit here and do what we're doing today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they wear their camouflage so we can wear ours.
That's right. Yep. Great.
So
yes, sir.
Hey,
and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So going back to those Goulds we was talking about there, and before we kind of got started on this, I did not realize how high of an elevation bird that is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're pretty high up there, I understand, but 4,000, 5,000 feet, I think.
They range between 4,500 and 9,800 feet.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
So that'd be a fun bird right there.
Sure would.
I'm on that.
that would.
So they got them, like I said, we was talking about where we thought they were. So they are in New Mexico and Arizona, but mainly ranging in Mexico.
That'd be like hunting a mountain goat.
Yeah,
Let me start getting in shape now.
Yeah, definitely.
absolutely.
So what's the highest you've been up hunting out there in California? Because there's some high peaks.
Oh, he's got the Sierras right
yeah,
there.
you got the Sierras. So what's the highest you've been up there above sea level?
The highest I've been up was when I've been deer hunting, and that's about 7,500 feet.
See, that's further than here. Our highest point in West Virginia, I believe, is around 3,900.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Spruce
Oh,
Knob.
man, that's still low country here in California. I hate
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
I mean, but you're talking about mountains here in West Virginia that can go up and down like V's. I mean, it's just straight up and straight down, straight up and straight down.
Yeah, they don't have what you call a peak.
Yeah, they don't have peaks.
Roll right over. What you went up is what you go down the other side.
Yeah.
You get to the point where it just peaks out and you just drop right back on the other side.
Yeah, when you're talking about deer season, you kind of do a shot placement. Am I going to shoot that deer there, or I'm going to wait till he goes over to the other side?
Oh yeah, I've passed up many of them because I'm
so I can get him to roll down to the bottom of the hill.
Yeah. I was like I said, I've passed up many of them because I'm like, I'm not dragging him back up out of that hole.
Oh my,
right there.
yeah, I tell you, I took my brother-in-law, and this was right after me and my wife got married. I took him hunting, and I was like, oh my gosh, he shot this deer, and it rolled down into this, ravine. I mean, like just straight V, right up and down.
Call it what it is. It's a holler.
Yeah, it's a holler. So he shot this deer, and this thing literally rolled to the bottom of the holler.
Oh.
And we go down there to get it, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, he showed me where he shot the deer at, and it rolled 150 yards down the holler.
No shit.
Luckily, it was just a little doe, so I put it on my back, and I was like, I'm carrying this thing. I ain't dragging shit.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Man, that's crazy.
Let me ask you guys, do you have a favorite turkey hunt out of your memories, one that sticks out the most to you?
Well, since my brother's gone, I have one turkey hunting, memory with him, and that was when I was younger.
Just one?
Yeah, I went with him a lot, but it was him killing turkeys, not me.
Oh.
But I had plenty of deer stories with him. But, most all my hunting memories is with my brother because, my dad hunted, but, during that time, he took time off from work to hunt, and he was more of the business, fatherly figure. And when we went to deer camp, he would go and he would hunt. But my brother was the big hunter in the family, and he learned from all my uncles and things like that on my mom's side, I mean, my uncle Jason and, my uncle Bud and my uncle Rocky and things like that. I mean, I just have tons of memories from being in deer camp and, even being up there during turkey season. I mean, we would go up to Pocahontas County, and we would go up, 3 or 4 days before turkey season started just so we could trout fish.
Oh, sure.
Yep. So
Absolutely.
So going back on the memories, actually, I have one with his brother. So it was definitely me and my father-in-law and Mike's brother Timothy. We was down at the time we had a nice piece of property down in Mason County, West Virginia.
yep, a lot of turkey down there.
Oh, a lot of turkey, a lot of fields, kind of our agricultural area, really, fields and such. So we had this property, and
Well, you get closer to Ohio down there,
That's
so it
true.
starts getting flatter.
yeah, exactly.
And you want to stay away from Ohio, I understand.
Yeah.
But we was up on the ridge, we was up on the point, and we could see 2 different fields, and which we knew we had birds around us, but they wasn't happy. They wasn't having it that day. And I looked down in that one field, and I'm like, hey, there's there's three gobblers and about 6 hen. And Tim was like, all right, I'll get them up here. I said, there's no way you're getting them across the river up the side of a mountain. I said, there's no way. I've never seen it done. My gosh, if he wasn't one of the best callers I've ever seen, he starts his calling and they kind of get to the edge of the field where the water starts and the river. I'm like, yep, they're locked up. They're done. That's all she wrote. And I said, we're going to have to wander down to the bottom. He's like, no, we ain't going nowhere. I'll get them up here. I'm like, you're crazy. There's no way. I was decent at calling. I killed some birds before that, but just listen to him talk. I mean, he named it right when he called it the talk of the woods. He knew how to talk turkey. Oh, he could talk turkey. He brought 1 gobbler, 3 hens across that river and up the mountain, sitting with us. No kidding. But here's the bad part. My father-in-law's on the gun because, well, we're both on the gun. Me and him's both on the gun. I take that back. He could see them. I couldn't. So they're coming in. He sees this turkey strutting. And I'm like, I can't see nothing. I have no shot on anything. He's like, there's 2 of them right here. That one in the front strutting. I'm like, because he was going to let me shoot first. I'm like, I have no shot. If you can take it, take it. He was like, he waited and waited and waited. He's like, I'm like, just kill it. I can't shoot. I got nothing. They're locked up right there within range for you, but I have nothing. So he was like, all right. He pulled up and squeezed the trigger and shot it. And we went and got it. Was not the gobbler. It was a bearded hen. So he ended up killing a bearded hen. The gobbler flew off over the mountain back down to the field.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So all that work he did to call them birds up across the river and up the hill to kill a hen.
Kill a hen.
Yeah.
Bearded hen.
Yep.
Yeah, we have those. I mean, do y'all have those down there?
Crazy because she was
we do, and they are legal. They are legal.
Yeah, they are here too in fall, I believe, right?
No, they're. I mean, you can't tell the difference on. Well, you can if you look more at the head, but
yeah, true.
If you see a beard, most people's going to shoot it.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you get so in the moment that you see something strutting with something hanging as a beard, it's game over. You're not looking at the red head or the gray head or anything like that. But yeah,
nope,
we pick on it. Well, Tim don't no more, unfortunately, but I still pick on him. I'm like, hey, you gonna kill a hen this year? Or it's about an every year thing.
Yeah, that's funny.
That still is a great story, though. That's great. I am sorry to hear about your brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's one good thing that, I know where he's at now, and I know the memories that we've had and shared, and I can look back on those. That's one thing that gets me through. We usually do a scripture during our podcast, but Dave can't be with us on Mondays, so that's why we've switched our recordings to Tuesdays, so we can always have that scripture because he's the one that does that scripture for us. But our faith in God and things like that is what's got us through. So we appreciate that, Casey.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, and that's all that matters. I mean, the Lord, He's with the Lord.
Yep.
And He's watching over you guys. Absolutely.
Yeah, He's with us on every hunt. That's what I tell my son.
I will tell you a little secret on Tim, though. That man was so engrossed with hunting.
Oh, yeah.
He would quit a job if they wouldn't give him a time off to hunt.
He sure would. I'll tell anybody that.
Yeah,
He'd want me to tell people that.
Absolutely.
Because that's how much he loved the outdoors, and that's why we have to do everything we can to keep the traditions in hunting alive. And that's one thing we focus on because I knew that was a big passion of his.
Yes, it was.
Yes, absolutely. And it seems like, unfortunately, at least here in California, hunting has subsided among the youth a bit. And so I want to get my son, he's old enough, out there, turkey hunting, dove hunting, quail hunting, get him involved.
Oh, definitely.
And, keep the spirit alive.
Yep.
Because without that, it's done.
It's a dying sport, like we've been talking in past episodes. I mean, we have to continue to do what we do on a daily basis to further this tradition and to keep it alive within our families, with our friends' families, and the people that we meet. That's another reason why we go to these trade shows and we interact with these youth, because not only are we teaching them how to use mouth calls and friction calls, but they get excited like we did when we were younger about hearing those birds and going hunting.
Well, and I think a lot of these kids, their parents may not hunt, but they show an interest, so they take them to these trade shows and everything. So, if we can interact with them and show them that, hey, this is fun, this is enjoyable, this is how you do it, that may pique their interest even more and allow their parents to see, hey, that's something they're really interested in. Maybe even if find somebody that can help them.
Yeah, and even if even if the father don't hunt, I mean, let your child go with a family member. Like I said, my dad wasn't the biggest hunter, but he hunted. But luckily, my brother was the big hunter, and he's the one that learned from my uncles. And still to this day, I could call my uncles up and be like, "Hey, let's go hunting," and they're like, "Where you want to go?" I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, they're going to go. Well, where you want to go fishing? Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. That's my dad was the same way. He hunted, but duck hunting was his kind of passion. Didn't get to go very often.
Yeah.
But myself, especially with turkey hunting, that turned into my passion.
Yeah.
And being introduced to it, and that's where I am now. In fact, years ago, I was coerced into participating in a turkey calling contest down in Bakersfield, California, which is just about 45 minutes south of where I live. And I got second place in the amateur division with just a Quaker Boy box call.
Oh, wow.
And that started, I never did compete again, but it was something that I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. And, got to meet so many people who were, just so passionate about turkey hunting and just hunting in general.
Yeah. There's a guy that owns a custom call company in California that I met at the NWTF show, and I cannot remember his last name, but his first name is Steve.
Steve.
Yeah, he does offshore fishing and stuff down there, and I can't remember his last name, but I met him at the NWTF. If I texted a buddy of mine, he would know right off the bat.
There is a guy I've seen down in Southern California. He has a company called Fly Down Custom Calls, although I can't remember his name. Does that ring a bell?
No, I can't remember the name of his company. It's been so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try to find here real quick from one of my buddies.
Sure.
So one of the other things that we wanted to talk about was, we mentioned before the podcast, while we was talking, that hunting is about the only thing that you're in, and you haven't really got into fishing. How come that is?
You know what? Because every time I go fishing, my line gets tangled up the reel every damn time.
I hear you.
You just gonna have to move back to the old Zebco
10 minutes and unreel that bastard. And I'm like, that's a lot easier to load a gun and go out and hunt something. And
oh yeah,
sure.
So, but I have done some offshore fishing. My oldest brother lives down in San Diego, and he does a lot of offshore fishing. I've been with him a few times. I've caught a few little bonita, and nothing really special. Done some shore fishing.
Yeah, see, that's one thing I've gotten into. I love shore fishing when I go to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
See, I love pier fishing. Same thing. But
same thing, yeah.
I like you can sit up there on a pier and hook a jigging pole up and drink beer and jig all day just one-handed.
Yeah. That's my kind of day right there. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And we have quite a good, especially down in the Southern California during the summertime. There's yellowtail, yellowfin, Dorado.
Oh, yeah, you can't beat some yellowfin tuna.
No, you can't.
Man, I'm telling you, that's some of the best fish I've ever had right there.
Same here. I love that stuff. I could eat it all day.
Of course, I like mahi-mahi too.
Yes.
Dolphin? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I like some dolphin.
Yeah, we went to this place called Bonefish one time, and I got some swordfish. It's the first time I ever had swordfish.
See, I like swordfish.
Swordfish is really good.
I'll tell you another really good one. When I go down to Dad's in Florida, it's called a tilefish.
Yeah.
Ugly, Oh God, it's ugly. It's about one of the ugliest fishes I've ever seen. But you catch it in the Gulf Stream in about 900 to 1,200 foot of water.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, and they call them tile fish because they live in like clay tiles. They build like clay tile houses to not roost, to bed into.
To bed, yeah.
Yeah, so they're pretty cool.
Man,
that's
crazy.
awesome.
Only a two.
Yeah, I've never seen a fish that roosts.
Yeah.
I can't either.
He always gets on me. We were up at Cabela's. We were up at Cabela's the other day, and here we are sitting there at the table, and I'm looking directly at this. It's a Jake, but I wasn't looking at the head of the turkey, and I couldn't see the front of it because it had a little beard. And I said, well, I got a hen sitting right here in front of me. And he was like, yeah, that's not a hen.
Oh, shoot.
You got to have a good time.
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Okay, I got his name. His name is Steve Howie.
Steve Howie. I can't say I've heard of him.
Yep, I can't remember the call company that he owns. Let me look him up here on Facebook real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Dan. You can chime in on something else there.
So, talking about back to fishing a little bit. You don't do a whole lot, but you guys got a lot of halibut up there, or not really? Is that
we do? We have a lot of halibut, especially here on the what we call the central part of the coast.
That's a good fish.
You got quite a few halibut, and boy, they get some big ones.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not Alaska size, but they're damn good sized halibut. And I love halibut.
No, I do too. Yep. So how far from the Pacific are you?
I'm about from the central coast. I'm about 2 hours.
Okay.
And from the San Diego area, it's about 4.5, 5 hours. And from where I lived for a few years down in Santa Barbara, it's about 3 hours.
Okay. See, if I come out and do some turkey hunting and such, I'd have to bring my dive gear because that's one of my bucket lists. I want to scuba dive in the Pacific. Them big old kelp forests you guys have, and all that. I'd love to see it.
They are gorgeous. You just gotta watch out for the what we call the man in the gray suit. The
seals.
the
seals?
great whites we have out here.
Oh.
They're quite plentiful.
Oh,
really?
Okay.
Yeah, because you guys are actually kind of a cold weather ocean, right? Cold water ocean.
We are.
Yeah.
It's cold, especially over the central coast and north. This time of year, it's probably water's about 50 degrees or so.
Wow.
What's about the highest temperature it gets up to?
Let's see. Down in San Diego, it'll get up to about 70, 72.
That's still cold.
Because consider right now in Florida, the water temperature is about 71.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's that would be cold then.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah.
So I'll just have to remember bring warm dive gear.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely bring yourself a good wetsuit. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm used to the cold weather water, so it's all right.
Oh yeah. No problems then. No problems. But we do have some beautiful kelp forests out there, especially if you go up towards Monterey. Beautiful kelp forests everywhere.
Nice. So
yep.
On the redwoods, are you far from those big redwood forests? We were talking about that a little bit earlier, but
yep. No, I'm actually only about an hour away.
Okay.
And
so you can still drive through. They got those trees where you still drive through them, right?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah. Absolutely. In fact, we have an area up there called Trail of the 100 Giants, and it's all nothing but all those big redwood trees. And Yosemite National Park is only 2.5 hours away north of me or so.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So what's this? I've seen this thing on the internet. I'm just going to go ahead and ask this because, it's one of them things that all the presidents go to. It's called something, the Grove. What is that?
You know what? To be honest, I have no idea. I know about it. I know some weird shit goes on there, but I have no idea. I know there's some weird Bohemian Grove. I think is what
Bohemian
it's
Grove.
called.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and that there's just some weird stuff that goes on up there. Not sure exactly what, but that's that. And I honestly, at this point, I kind of don't want to know.
Sure.
It's just like, Lord, you can send the asteroid any time now, and take care of that.
Take care of that. That's funny. So,
Yeah.
so we were, my buddy just messaged me back there on Facebook, and we was talking about that Steve Howe guy, or Steve Howe. He was real good friends with Steve Savage. So
Okay.
I'm not Steve Savage is from out in that area, correct?
I honestly can't say I've ever heard of him either.
He's usually an AM talk show host guy, I think.
Oh yeah. Steve Savage, yeah, of course, yeah. Okay, all right, yep, yep. I know
It was kind of late night, early morning talk show guy.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yep.
he made some calls, and I don't know whether he had a call company or he just made calls to enter into the NWTF contest. But he came down there for a long time, and man, he would catch some amazing fish down there on the coast. I mean, it was crazy.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, like I said, especially during the summertime, you go down south, you can catch some great fish. My oldest brother and his buddy own half cent on a boat, and they'll go down to Mexico early in the morning and go down and catch dolphin and yellowfin and oh gosh, they catch all kinds of different stuff down there. But if you want the good stuff like the bluefin tuna, you got to go out about probably damn near 100 miles.
Oh yeah, I'd say so. That's the way it is here on the Gulf. Like when we go off from the East Coast, I try to get out into the Gulf Stream. You're talking about anywhere from 25 miles to 30 miles out, anywhere up and down the East Coast. That'll put you into the Gulf Stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where you're getting into some of the good stuff.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Well,
excellent.
Steve,
yes, sir.
I called you Steve. Sorry, Casey.
I'm going to hold that against you now.
We were talking about Steve. That was on my mind. Here I am looking at my buddy's text there on the Facebook. But Casey, I think that's going to about do it for us this evening. So we sure appreciate you coming on, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely was.
Yeah, it was great talking to you guys too. It's been great talking to you, and I hope you guys can make it out here and hunt some Rios. And
I tell you, that would be awesome.
That would be a fun time. And anytime I'm open to you guys, I'll even make space on the couch for you.
All right.
I hear you. We appreciate it. It's always good to get somebody's perspective from that far out on the West Coast. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So.
Oh yeah, I mean, because most turkey hunters, they're all in the Midwest most of the time, and on the East Coast like you guys, and anybody else out there listening, ever want to come out to California and get a Rio, I can try and help you get one if anybody's ever interested.
Sounds good. Well, stand by there for a little bit after we get off, and we'll holler at you again. But we're gonna sign off for this evening. So everybody, thank you for listening. We're gonna have a little commercial here for our sponsors at the end. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. We're on about 18 to 20 different outlets. So be sure to check us out and give us a subscribe. So hang on there after the show, Casey, and we'll talk to you there again before you go. We appreciate you coming in, sir.
Yep,
I appreciate it as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Will Jewelry and Loan. When you need cash and you need it fast, check out Will Jewelry and Loan. Come on in with your jewelry, firearms, electronics, tools, lawn equipment, dirt bikes, side-by-sides, and even four-wheelers. They will beat any competitor's loan amount, and that's a fact. Will Jewelry and Loan guarantees faster and more cash for your loan than any other company in the area. They have your cash you need fast. Check them out today on their Facebook page or give them a call at 304-768-5101. Stop in and talk with them at 5523 McCorkle Avenue, Southwest, South Charleston, West Virginia. Will Jewelry and Loan, 304-768-5101.